Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I am so stoked for this call tonight. We have the one and only Joey Nye joining us. This has turned into kind of a big call, and I didn't want to tell Joey because I wanted to make sure she had the audience that she deserves. This woman has inspired the heck out of me. We also brought on the Broco, which typically is the men meeting up on a Thursday evening. With that, I want to start at the foundation. This is what we always do. Luther, if you would, sir, please go ahead and lead us in a quick blessing over this group and those who we are serving.
100%, man. Let's take it to the Lord in prayer. Father God, we thank you for this day. Lord, we thank you for this opportunity that you've laid in front of each of us, Father. We just pray right now that we would steward this opportunity well, Father, that we would work to build kingdom businesses, Father God, and have kingdom impact for your glory. Lord, that we would put you first in everything that we do, every conversation, every reach out, every life that we touch, Father God. We just pray right now that you would just give us a heart for to serve the people well. Lord, we love you and we thank you so much for this opportunity. Just bless our fellowship tonight. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for that, brother. So, y'all, I Joey and I started talking about this, I think, at convention, and it I don't even know what to say. She says that she is going to do something and she does it. And she does it on time. Like she sets a calendar, she sets a schedule, and she's like, bam, I'm gonna go Emerald then. And she does it. I don't know what her calendar looked like, but for those of you who are following, I want to bring the two together because we have friends in here who are y'all are using the product, you're loving the product, you're here for the community. We love it. We have some folks in here also who are aggressively looking to build a business, whether it's our firefighters who are trying to get home with a family, the moms who the husband is working like crazy and putting in 70, 80, 90 hours a week and they're trying to get some time with their family at home, whatever it may be. We're bringing those two together. Um, when I heard Joey's story, I was moved. She went Emerald on her own timeline. She did the work. She showed up. And then she went Icon. Joey, you were the third in the company to go Icon, if I recall correctly. Fourth. Okay, fourth. Still impressive. You know, nothing to sneeze at. For those who don't know what that is, in a matter of a few weeks, Joey helped 10 people get started on their health journey. And when we do that together. We do that as a family. We One Plexus is kind of it's a motto that Coach Ronnie Cuevas, for those who know him, Coach is the one who came up with One Plexus, and it implies that we're all a family. We're all here to serve one another, to help one another. Many people on this call, we're not related, but with that, Joey helped 10 people come into the family, and then she helped two people get to a point where they're each earning in the ballpark of 5 to 8 thousand bucks a year on average, the way that she is showing them how to do this. And I don't know about you guys, but that's not chump change. 5 to 8 thousand bucks a year, that makes a difference. So, Joey, I could go on. You've done so much. Your story is incredible. Let me just shut my mouth. And please, like we said, we're gonna leave this up for a free for all, and wherever it may go. And y'all, if you would, in the chat, let us know where you're joining from, so we also know who's here.
Hello, hello. I'm like so happy to be here. Just so honored that, Mike, that you asked me to be here. Um, and just honored to be able to tell my story, honored that people are open to hearing a story because I think that's the first step is being open to hear other people's stories and be able to be moved by them, whether it resonates with you or gives you the ability to resonate with somebody else through someone else's story. So it's not always, I hope and pray that no one can resonate directly with my story, but that you can take parts of it and filter it into your life and the way that you show up and the way that works. So let me just start by saying I am a wife. I will be married 23 years this month, the end of this month. I have two children, and my son is 20 and my daughter is 14. I live in Pennsylvania, and I was a licensed cosmetologist, not working behind the chair. currently because I have always had a passion for network marketing and MLMs because truthfully, in the cosmetology world, you're only going to make money if you're spending all of your nights and weekends there. Um, and once I gave birth to my son, I was like, I don't want to do that. So I kind of like dabbled in everything. And I was fortunate enough that my husband, always provided for our family in the way that we needed to. So everything was sort of like a hobby, if you will. Like I got a couple bucks here and there, but like we weren't paying the bills with it. It kept me happy and made me feel good. And that was kind of it. I always thought, the people at the top were at the top because they already had money and they didn't have to worry about anything. They didn't need to have a whole lot of courage to get there in these businesses. The big, huge gifts weren't really attainable. So somebody like a normal person like me didn't do those things. Um, so that was just my mindset there on that. So I was part of a network marketing group. People sold things there, and I always say like I'm a girl's girl. So like somebody had a goal and she needed a customer, and this pink drink sounded great, so I bought it. And I used it sometimes, and not consistently. And I didn't care about all of the perks and all of the things that came along with it. I just wanted to help her reach a goal. And then there would be a sale, and I would be like, all right, I'll order again. I got like an email from Plexus, and they were like, here's, and I'm like, I'll reorder it. So I would do that. And you guys, I did this for like 3 years. So I was the worst VIP ever. So do not give up on your people. There is a Joey somewhere. um, but the people in my community, in my lineage, in my upline, they kept me on Facebook. They never gave up on me. They didn't quit on me. They didn't just say, see ya, like she's not ordering, she's a white line again, whatever. Like they didn't hound me. They loved me where I was at. But it wasn't the time, right? I didn't, and they saw other things I was doing and knew that I could be good at this, but never pushed me. And that is really important because that helps me for the people, that take weeks to get back to me or, like those kind of things. I have a different place in my heart and my mind for them because that was me. So I don't give up on those people. So 3 years I did that. And when I set this call up with Michael, let me just backtrack a little bit. I was like, okay, like this is the day, this is the time that works because there was nothing on the schedule. But in my mind, I wasn't really filtering out what the day was. And I'm going to tell you what the day was. 2 years ago today, my son underwent a brain surgery um, to this day. So there's something about how all this worked out for me to be able to talk and tell my story today. And it never, I want to say, even last year on this day, it wasn't as huge. And I don't mean it wasn't as huge as in it wasn't so full circle of for me to grasp. But when I tell you how this all unfolded and the things that have happened within this past just 1 year, you'll understand why this 2 year is so different. And I just thank you all for being here. And I hope, like, if I just touch one person, I told Michael, I don't care if one person gets on the call. This is what we're going to do. So in that time, it was very sudden. We had no idea. He presented with a migraine. I've always had migraines. This one just seemed exceptionally bad. And we were like, well, we'll take him to the local emergency room. We'll get some pain meds. We'll be good. We get to the emergency room and they do a CT scan and they found a large bleeding tumor in his brain, like baseball size tumor that was unfounded. We never knew it was there. It was slow growing. They told us had it not been slow growing, he would have presented differently and been in a coma. Um, and he was medevac to a larger hospital where then he underwent brain surgery today, 2 years ago. He came out of that. Pathology reports was benign. They removed as much, did a tumor resection as much as they could. He's doing well, right? So in that time, I was in the hospital with him for 7 days. I didn't shower. I didn't go home. I didn't change my clothes. I didn't do anything. We didn't know what tomorrow was going to look like. We didn't know anything really. And again, I have a daughter, I have a husband, and I just sat in that hospital for those days. And I was like, what am I going to do to show up better for myself, to be able to show up for my family, to do what we need to do? Now, granted, nothing that I had like ailing me was something that like would stand out really to anyone, but I was on migraine injections myself. I've had migraines for a very long time. My migraine injection alone, one a month before my deductible was met, was about $800. And that was like a saving grace to me because it cut my migraines back from about seven a month to maybe two. And I thought that that was a godsend. I was like, this is amazing. So I love that. And I budgeted and I knew I needed to be able to afford that. Then on the flip side of that, there was a prescription. If I got a migraine, I would have to take that. That was 10 tablets. And those were about $800, to refill those before the deductible was met. Um, and again, I was so super thankful for that. I had anxiety, terrible, and clearly through this situation was worse. And I was not sure how I was going to make it through. So I knew I was like digging deep, looking up all of the things. And of course, a lot of people, and I tell everybody, especially like moms with kids, we never want to put ourselves first. We have to take care of the kids. And especially in this situation, part of me was like, is this selfish? Right. But I'm like, he's here getting the care he needs. What it's going to be, I have no power and no control over, but I need to be able to show up to face it and to take care of what's next for us. The only way I can do that is by taking care of me. And I started researching and everything was coming back to gut health. And I was literally like, Joey, like get to the pantry. Like you have this stuff. You've been a crappy customer. Like you have it. So I started to use the products in September of 2023 consistently. And October, I was like, wow, we're really on to something here. I think like I'm feeling all right. So I was talking to my sponsor more frequently, and she's like, can you just get on a call and we can talk about sharing some products? And she's like, let's just get them covered for you. I was like, okay, all right, fine. I'm open to it. Like she didn't come like beating on my door ever in the last 3 years. So she really wasn't going to attack me now. And I don't live close to any of my upline. So like I'm in Pennsylvania, they're in New Jersey. So I was like, I'm safe over here. So I had the call and I put up my first post on Facebook the first week of November of 2023. And I earned the trip to Punta Cana by December 31st that year. So if you have any desire to go to Cancun, I'm here to tell you right now that you absolutely can. I will lock arms with you and I will help you get there because it is so, so possible, especially if you're here right now and not, starting in November to think about it. I didn't even know what I was doing because of my son's follow-ups and appointments and things like that. I wasn't able to go. But I didn't let that deter me because I was like, wow, this is powerful. If somebody like me can earn this trip in 2 months, there's got to be more. Like, there's definitely more opportunities. I've never traveled, you guys. I've never flown in an airplane before Plexus. We never had passports. Like, there was never a need for it. My family didn't travel. We didn't do things. We couldn't afford to do things. Um, and so I was like, okay, this is crazy. I'm going to stick with this. I went fast start Ruby in 5 months and I continued to share. And I did sweep like the Vegas contest. Unfortunately, I was unable to go to that as well because when that happened in June, my mother-in-law had actually passed away. So we were traveling to Florida to be with family during that time. It was a huge blessing because there was somebody brand new on my team who was doing amazing things and who I was able to gift my room to in Vegas. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to go. So that is always something, that I just think like these gifts from Plexus, like I could never have afforded to pay for that room for someone, right? So, and that trip changed her life. So I'm super thankful for that. So these are always things that like, just because you think like I can't go to Cancun, like I have XYZ, like that's okay. There's still power in being able to do these things, right? Like we get to do them. So in that time frame, my son actually injured himself that summer. So he had a surgery where he had a plate and 7 screws put in his collarbone. We had to get clearance through neurology for him to undergo that surgery. So there was so much that summer that kind of like backtracked again, and everything was kind of at a standstill, and I was hitting Ruby and then not hitting Ruby, and I was like, okay, it's fine. I didn't have this huge vision, right? But I was here and I was loving building a team and doing the things, but I just stayed consistent in my work, and I always stayed tapped into somebody else on my team. So like my upline, your sponsor, I always say make sure you are linked up with somebody that you trust with your business, because you never know when you'll have like a vacation where you need somebody to tap into your team and just keep the energy. Because for me, it's the energy. Like you have to show up, because as soon as you tap out, so do they. So I would always, like before a trip or anything, or in the event of an emergency where you literally can't work, that person is acquainted with your team. They've seen their face in your team page, and they are in three-way chats with you just for support, not because you don't know what you're doing, but to add an extra layer of community and support for the people that we are serving. That is a gift. So I always stay tapped in, and I tell my team the same thing. I am here for you. If you're going on vacation, you just send me a list where you need me, who to follow up with, and those things. So that's just an extra tip. For something that I keep in place. And I was so super grateful for it, because in December of last year, my son underwent a second brain surgery. So November of 2024, my dates are, well, today's a lot of bit emotional. I hit Ruby in November. December, my son underwent a second brain surgery. Again, very unexpected. He was getting routine MRIs every 3 months for the first year. And then it was every 4 months. So this was the first appointment that was spanned out over a 4 month period. And at every MRI, there were no changes. Everything was stable. So there were no signs, nothing that could have prevented this. There was a bleed at the site of the tumor resection. And he was again emergency medevac to the larger hospital, where they told us he had such a brain bleed that it was going into his spinal fluid. And so that's two brain surgeries in a year and a half. And he graduated in June, had his first brain surgery in August, and then his second brain surgery in December. So in December, I was just like, what am I going to do? Right? Like I already came into this straight out of trauma, and in the hardest season of my life started to share Plexus. Like people are like, what? And then I'm like, well, I can't give up now, right? Like I can't. And the people and the community, the team, my customers, people that weren't even my customers yet, but I was building those relationships, checked in on me, brought my family food, like messaged me, like things that you just don't have, if you're not building genuine relationships like this. And I was so super thankful for it. And also, that is really where the trigger of making sure you have somebody that you trust with your business, somebody that you trust with your people, somebody that is going to serve them the same way that you would. And I had that, like with my upline. Now, she wasn't coming in and doing all the work, but it was making sure that there was consistent support. Like if somebody just started a reset, like you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, you don't just want to like totally leave them hanging, right? Or their products are on the way. Well, they get them, and then what? Well, when you come back, they're gone. And in that moment, I'm not totally thinking about my business, but if somebody's supporting me that knows what this means to me, and they're checking in. So I already had those systems in place, so that when I'm like, whoa, I only had to tell one person what's going on in my life, and then the rest, so my business I didn't totally lose everything, right? I didn't maintain Ruby, but so what? I still had a business. I still had people that were supporting me. So November was the last month that I hit Ruby. December, surgery. January, still dealing with some things. February, I did earn and sweep the cruise. So I was like, we are going on this cruise. Like we got our passports. This was huge for us. I took my husband and my daughter. My son does not like to travel, so we did go on the cruise to the Bahamas. I swept the contest. We shopped at Bloomingdale's. We totally were like, okay, like we were doing this, like everybody is doing well. It's like the end of February, and we drove to Florida, because remember, I've never flown. So we drove from Pennsylvania to Florida, and then from Florida back home. And February 28th, we're driving home. So in the car for 20 some hours. And I could have like waited and started in March, right? But I was like, nope, I'm sending the messages now. I added somebody on February 28th. I didn't care. I wasn't like holding anything back. I'm like, I'm getting back in. We are doing this. So March, I went to work February 28th, and March I earned silver stars. And I was on the Plexus called me and they're like, Joey, you're in the running for silver stars. I'm like, what even is this? I'm like, I'm not even at Ruby points. And it was March 25th. And I'm like, okay, I haven't been Ruby since November. Um, they're telling me I can do this. I have the call with them on the 25th, and I'm like, I'm not even at Ruby points yet. Like, this is wild. March 31st, I was scheduled for a surgery myself. So I'm like, I'm only working until March 30th. And we went Ruby, senior Ruby that month in those days. And I mean, I just poured into my team, and I'll tell you, because everybody's going to say, okay, well, how the heck did you just jump right back in and hit silver stars? Well, I'll tell you what, I went back to the same people that were like me, the people that started with me the very first month of my very first year of Plexus, and I gave them a chance. I poured into them. I let them know what they were capable of. I let them know what was available to them. I let them know I was going for a goal. Do you just want to help me? And those are the people that went silver. Those are the people, for the most part, that have since double and triple ranked silver to gold. Because I literally just poured, they don't know. People don't know what they don't know. They don't know what we have to offer if we don't tell them. So that is how I did that in March. In April, maintained. I was like, okay, this is different. And then May, I booked my trip to Arizona, flew for the first time in my life. Thank you, Plexus. And I went to Arizona to corporate for the Silver Stars trip. And I sat there and they gave me this little notebook when we were in the meeting room. And I wore bright green. And I was like, I'm going emerald this month. And I'm like, who do I even think I am? I'm like, who are you? And like, I'm just this girl. And crazy, always off the rails, never on script. So if you expect any of that from me, it's not happening ever. And unless Plexus sends to a power hour, then I will try my best. But other than that, that's not what um so I sat there in the room and they gave me the notepad and I wrote on the notepad May by or Emerald by May 31st. I took zero other notes. I wrote nothing else down at all. And I went Emerald by May 28th. And then those last days of that month, I worked more than I've ever worked in my life because the momentum for my team and the goals they were going for were so much bigger than mine. And that's when we had double and triple ranks. That was the most fun I've had in a long, long time. But it created this culture to show up for them. And now because they're building teams, and they're welcoming friends and they're doing these things and they're like, oh my gosh, like Joey, like we're in this chat and like it's exciting. So we just literally like bring the Joey off the rails energy. This is just what we do. My people, some of them are on here, absolutely love it. And I'm so thankful for them. And Casey was like in a 7-day pink drink challenge at one when I went to, I don't know, she did that when I went on the cruise, but I did my system. I tapped her into somebody who wasn't going on the cruise, who was going to be available. And I was literally like, okay, this is Casey and this is where she's at. And like, don't bother her too much with the business because at the time Casey was not interested in the business. And I don't want somebody else to treat somebody the way that I wouldn't. I'm like, don't bother her about the business. This is where she's at. She's doing this challenge, da da da. Like, go through the whole thing. And then I started three-way chat. And I'm like, hey, Casey, this is my friend Kate, blah, blah, and like, you do the work, you do the intro, but you let the person who's helping you know what's going on and you plug it into the chat. Like, you don't just say, hey, I got 10 people in this challenge. Like, kind of watch out for them. Like you have to set it up. But that is literally, yes, Cassie. But that is literally the way like that these systems work. But I'm telling you, there will be reasons and seasons and times that you're like, you know what, like I have to check out. But I didn't. And I'm not saying like go through something crazy like me and show up anyway, but that's literally what I did because in those times and it's okay to grieve. Like I have hard days. Today was a very hard day. I didn't know if I was going to be able to do this today, but I absolutely wasn't going to not. And I am just always like, I will show up. I will show up for my team. I will show up if it will make a difference in one person's life. I will show up because when I turned to Plexus, I didn't know what it was going to do for me. I had no idea, but it was there for me when I didn't even know I needed it to be there. Like I tapped into it in that hardest season, and it gave me a place to shift my focus that was positive, and I was helping other people. And at the same time, I can tell you, I am over a year migraine free. I have not taken an injection, a migraine medication, an anxiety medication. Even during my son's second brain surgery, I literally, it crossed my mind when I was in the hospital. I was like, I'm going to have to message my husband and tell him that I need to call the doctor and get medication because I am not going to make it through this. I am not strong enough to make it through this. And, one thing leads to another, and I made it through it. And I didn't get another anxiety prescription. So I didn't know that I wasn't going to be on a migraine injection. I didn't expect that like at all. But I'll tell you, somebody said they were on those injections. And if you still are, I'm just going to throw this out there. I started to notice after a couple months of being consistent with the triplex that within 48 hours of doing my injection, I was getting a migraine. I'm not a doctor and I'm not giving medical advice ever. Um, But I started to notice that, and so did my husband. And I was like, I wonder if something in my body is actually is actually like balancing out. Like, and that when I do this injection, it's like throwing something off, right? Like again, zero medical terms here because I'm not that educated in that department. I just know how I was feeling. And I picked up my last prescription, and that's another funny story. I still have it in my refrigerator. Because the label is on it and the date is on it and because it means so much to me. Like it's so super emotional like for me that like I don't have to and I keep like that pharmacy has closed. Like that's how ridiculous I am. But I keep the box in there because it means something to me. And also because it was like a crutch and I was like I'll pick it up, but I'm going to see what happens. Like I'm going to see what happens if I don't. And I didn't, and I never reached for it again. So my last injection was last March, so over a year. And that one was I was due for that injection in April of the following month, and I never needed it. I never had to go back to it. So that was like a true blessing of staying consistent with the products that maybe if I would have done 3 years sooner, but also, 3 years sooner, I wasn't in the situation that I was in. I wasn't in the mindset that I was in. I didn't know what I needed at that time. And again, I didn't know what this was going to bring to me. So coming into right now, like I said, I hit Emerald in May. I have maintained Emerald every month since then. And I'm just so thankful for everything that this has brought to me because, like I said, a little bit back, I had no idea what this was going to do. I didn't come into it for the business. I come into it just to feel better again, like to be able to show up for my family. Like that was literally it. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, I need this to get rid of my migraines. I need this to lose weight. I need this to not be on anxiety medications because I surely am thankful for modern medicine in some respect, right? Like I wouldn't have my son here today. So I'm super thankful for that. But I am so grateful, for the blessing of I don't have to take these medications and be so thankful to only get 2 migraines a month. I haven't had one. I haven't had one. And I can tell you that a headache in my house now is scary. So to not get a migraine is a big deal. And along the way, like I just really feel like this past year, especially with all of the success that I've had, it really comes from showing up anyway, literally showing up anyway. And if you want to do the work, there are people that are willing to work with you, but we can't carry you. Like you literally have to apply the things that you're given. Like if you were just on the Eric call and you're like pumped about all the information you got, but you do nothing with it, it's kind of like doing a sip and see, and then you're like pumped because you talked to 20 people and then you don't have a good follow up. Like, or you get on a call like this and you're like, that was great. Joey was awesome. Like, and then tomorrow you're like, all right, I don't feel like I don't really feel so good today. Like you literally and people will lie, people will lie. You have to show up, you have to show up. Like yes, we get to choose when, and but if you want Jewel and if you want the big ranks and you want a bigger paycheck, then you have to work differently. You can't continue to work at a silver level and want to be emerald. Like I mean you can want it all you want, you can keep wishing for it, but you have to absolutely work for it. And I'll tell you, these goals like transpired over time for me. I didn't come here being like, I want to be at the top of that company because I didn't think that's what people like me did. So I didn't even think like, I don't even want that to be my goal because the people at the top are already at the top because they didn't have to worry about anything and they already have all the money and they already, like, that is such a lie that I told myself. such a lie that I told myself. So I flew on the airplane. I went to Arizona in May. I flew on the airplane again and I went to Dallas in June. And you guys, then I bought plane tickets for my whole family and we flew to Florida in July to see my father-in-law, which was huge. And these are things I wouldn't have done without Plexus, people I wouldn't have met without Plexus, and doors that wouldn't have been opened. And just so super thankful. I'm honored to be able to tell my story. I am super blessed that my story is a good one. It's traumatic and it's sad and it's hard and some days it cripples me, but it has brought me so much. It has shown me the strength of my son, my daughter, my husband, myself. If my son wasn't as optimistic and such a cool kid, he's a guy now, he's 20, but if he wasn't so like dang amazing, like he taught me so much through this whole situation. And it's hard for me to be like, wow, we got so much good out of this. We got so much good out of this. We have really scary days. And we there I will just say there's nothing to prevent what happened from happening again. And he absolutely does not live in fear. He goes to work. He hangs out with his friends. He is a smart kid. He's not doing things some other 20-year-olds are doing, because he recognizes that. He rides a dirt bike, and people look at me like I'm crazy because I let him. But he's not going to live in fear. A dirt bike didn't do this to him, and if that again, like you're not talking about a dirt bike, right? But like he don't be scared. Like, do it. I mean, why are we living in fear of the things that don't matter, the people that don't matter, the opinions that aren't paying our bills, you know? And so just learn from each other, be open to hearing other people's stories and situations because like you might have heard like before you got on here, Joey dealt with like serious medical things with her son, and you're like, okay, why don't you have kids? Like that doesn't matter to me. Like, but it helps you resonate on a different level or a different situation or with somebody else who needs you, and needs your strength or your story or to hear my story through you, because you can absolutely change lives with someone else's story. And I feel like that is a gift that we're all given. And I'm taking up all of your time. I just looked at the clock. I'm sorry.
Joe, you're totally not taking up all of our time. I'm taking notes as you were sharing this.
Oh my
And
gosh. And I'm
the very
like,
first one, you brought it back around. Like how what am I going to do to show up for my family?
I'm
And
going
I
to show
mean,
up. Yeah.
yeah, like maybe you don't have kids at home anymore, but that doesn't mean that there aren't people that you don't love in your life and people that count on you and that you show up for. And as I look at the people who are in the side of the screen here, some of them are raising kids on their own, and maybe they just sent their kids to school for the first time, whether it's college or they're going into kindergarten right now. All the emotions that go through that. Our kids are looking to us. Our families are looking to us.
I can
And
tell you, I don't mean to cut you off, but I literally, my daughter is going to a brand new school this year and she starts on Monday. And we just like went and did the walkthrough of the school and it is huge and it's high school. And like, so that on top of my emotional day already, I'm just like a crazy, crazy mess. I'm like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. But I can tell you too, and just to speak on strength and showing up anyway, this isn't me, but when my son was scheduled for his brain surgery, my daughter went to school that day, and people are like, "What? Like what? What was she going to do at the hospital?" Right? And it's not because I made her. It was her decision. She thrives off of consistency and showing up and being where she's supposed to be for her responsibilities. And she showed up for school because that is how she works, and maybe we all don't work that way, but if like you can take something from that, it's your energy needs to be where it's going to serve you best. And if your next goal is to be emerald, then you don't, you know not show up because like the dog threw up. Like, I mean, I feel like we're just so lax with making crazy excuses. Or I was on a call last night and she's like, well, we're going to wait for the weekend. I'm going to wait till after the weekend. Well, it's Monday now and the kids are starting school. So I'm going to wait till next week. Oh, well, then it's Labor Day weekend. So I'm going to wait till after Labor Day. Well, then like before you know it, you're waiting until after Halloween because there's going to be candy in the house. And then and then it's going to be Thanksgiving and then it's going to be Christmas. And now it's a whole new year. I mean, there's literally always something, right? Like, somebody's getting married and it's somebody's birthday and it's like and we're always like waiting for the next thing or like things are going to calm down next week because the kids are going to be in school. Well, then we're like, oh my gosh, well, it's so busy because the kids are in school now and they have sports, so it's going to have to wait until summer. Well, then in the summer the kids have you running to like Johnny's house and Susie's house and to baseball and to the pool and like for wherever. And I'm just like, so then we can't do it because it's summer because they're so busy. So like you're never going to do it if you make an excuse. So your excuses have to become your reasons, and you have to show up like you're the boss at the meeting, because you're not going to flake on a boss because you were too tired or because you stopped for coffee and then you ran into a friend and then you decided to go shopping instead, but you forgot about that meeting or that goal. Like if you have a business goal in the office and it's like, you better get this done by Friday. And then you're just like, you think about your own goals. I got to get this done by Friday. Like, I want to do this. I want to go away for my anniversary with my husband at the end of this month. I need to hit Emerald before I leave because my anniversary is on the 31st and I want to flip and enjoy it because we haven't done anything in 23 years. um, so I'm just like, okay, so we're doing that team that's on here. Yeah, see, noted. But that's just it. Like you set these goals for yourself. Like respect yourself the way you respect other people. Love yourself the way you love others, right? Respect yourself the way that you are committed to your job because it's your 9 to 5 and that's how you're getting paid. Well, if you want your paycheck to grow, then you don't cancel your meetings. And even if that's with yourself, even if that's for your own power hour to work by yourself. I mean, whatever that is. But I'm sorry.
No,
No,
I mean, like we could go on forever, and I know there are a few who might have to tuck kids in. I've got a
I wanted to say something real quick,
What you
Michael.
got, Luther?
Joey, I wanted to point out something you said about your daughter. You said she chose to go to school because she understands, she values consistency and showing up, right? I want you to know that it has been modeled for her. That is not by mistake.
Thank
That has
you.
been modeled for her. And for everybody on here, what models are you setting for your children? Like that spoke to me so much when you said, I was like, that's not a normal behavior for a kid, right? I know a lot of kids, they would try to make excuse. I've been in education, right? I was a band director, yeah, as a band director, part-time counselor, right? Like I've been around kids for a long time. And I didn't mean to make you emotional on that, but what our kids see from us is what we will see in them. And so if you want to know, if you want a real reflection of what you were showing up like, look at your kids. And that's just real.
Thank you.
And
So
I'll
I'm
tell
gonna,
you, like, there are people here who haven't met you in person yet. We're all sending you hugs
I
today.
can't
For you to
wait.
share this story means so much.
Mhm.
Um,
Thank you.
you use words like we get to help people.
Yep.
And, you know, somebody who is going to serve them is how you talked about the person who backs you up. We've got this really weird thing where we help people with health, and we're not medical professionals. Like, there's nobody in here who is trying to be a medical. Well, Kristen was a physical therapist, and I'm certified nutrition. We're not medical professionals. We just want to see the people that are around us feeling better. And I will ask because I could ask so many questions, and we're going to have to do another call. But we have a couple people on here who, like, this is either their first call or they are making the big step from VIP to working to become an ambassador, thinking about Cancun. And you mentioned Leaders Retreat. You mentioned first and foremost, like income disclosure. We can't talk actual dollar figures because everybody is different the way the compensation plan works, and there is a legal regulation that protects people in this. But is it safe to say that the average income of an emerald, I think it's around 108,000 a year. I think it's around there. Does that sound about right
Yep.
for
Average.
the
Yep.
average? So you mentioned going emerald. I can only imagine how that looks and changes your life and being able to do the things that you need to do traveling to Florida. That's really cool. But can you tell us a little bit about the very first time that you got to see the company, which was at Leaders Retreat? Like you hadn't even been to a convention by that point in time.
No.
And
Yeah.
you swept Leaders Retreat and you're at Bloomingdale's and you walk in and like, here's your $2,000 gift card. Would you like a mimosa to go with your shopping spree while the store is closed for you?
Yeah, we were like, my daughter and I will tell you, I don't know, has anybody here been like to the Bloomingdale's thing? Like, if not, I will drop you some pictures because it is wild, right?
Crazy.
We literally walked in and we're just like, and that's how we walked around for at least an hour. So there were like zero purchases for at least an hour because we were just like, what is happening? Like,
The entire store is closed.
There's like a DJ over here. Oh, there's
They
a
have a
DJ over there.
breakfast
There's
bar
food
on the
here.
second floor.
Like wild. But yes, leaders retreat was my first like thing. And it was the first thing, that my husband was exposed to for Plexus. Like I said, zero of my team is in my local area. So well, not my team now, but like my upline, my sponsors, the people who like helped me step into this. So we weren't at events. I didn't go to things like that because there wasn't it. Like now, like I have an event, a local event on Monday here in Pottsville, Pennsylvania, and Tarl is coming. So totally freaked out. But really excited for that. And we have some really cool things set up for that. It's at an axe throwing location. So I'm like really pumped. But so before I became a leader and stepped into that and was like, oh, like I can host these things on my own and like have team gatherings and stuff like that. There wasn't something. So like literally the first thing for us was like go big or go home. And it was like, okay, we went from nothing to now we're on a ship, like with everybody.
And the entire ship is only Plexus people. They bought out the entire ship,
Yes.
and it is just a cruise for us.
Yeah, it was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Like to walk around, see Plexus everywhere, Plexus people everywhere. So everyone is friendly. You might not know who they are. They might recognize you from, a call or a shout out or like, I mean, we wore team hats. So when we walked around, like we knew, like, so I didn't know people from my team, but I'd be like, oh, hey, I see your hat. Like, what's your name? Because I'm sure I saw you on a Zoom, but I'm not really, I'm really bad at this. So it was really cool to just meet people that way. And like, while you're literally like living a dream. Like literally living a dream. And so Cancun is absolutely doable. Like I said, if you were just coming in here, you can totally rock it right out. I have two girls on my team that added six this month. So they're already starting out with some points. I am really working closely with some people, maybe on this call, to earn icon. And even lock in those extra some on my team are on their way to like locking in those extra 800 points this month, which is incredible. Cassie is literally almost there. She is one senior silver away. Her senior silver is like it's happening because we were working on it. And because she's willing to put in the work, and I am willing to work with anybody that is willing to put in the work, because I love feeding off that energy, whether you're on my team or not. I hate to talk to myself, but I love to talk, clearly. Like we're in chats and I'm like, oh my gosh, just keep talking, just show the energy, please just talk for me. Like people get mom deaf or dad deaf, like they don't want to always hear from me. So I'm like, hey, throw that in there. So you just utilize different strategies. But for real, if you have like the smallest desire and you are brand new, these trips were made for you to earn. Like they're literally the majority of the people that are on that ship or at that resort are like gold, right? Like I would venture to say like gold is like the majority. Like it's made for you. And I'm just so excited for everybody. Like I would love to, can you guys just before we get off here, like drop like your rank and what your goal is? Like I want to see it because I don't know. And I literally just like talked aimlessly like I knew everybody here. Like we're just like, hey
And if
friends.
you guys don't know the ranks, if there is a dollar figure that you want to put in there that changes your life, whether it lets you come home from work, retire early, just work less hours, if you just want to change 1,000 lives, um, that's totally cool. I never imagined what it would be like to have extra hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm not there yet, but I can imagine it now. And I know a lot of people that do, and I'm watching them build beautiful pools and resorts in their backyard and stuff like that as they're also helping fund
I
charities and
always
stuff
I
like
always
that.
like to tell my team too, your goal does not have to be a rank, especially if you're already at a rank and you're comfortable there. Or like your next rank sounds really scary, right? So you're just like, you know what? Like I'm Ruby and I'm like cool there, maybe senior Ruby, but like I'm not stretching for Emerald yet because I'm not quite there yet. That's okay. You can be like a high Ruby. You can be a high senior Ruby. Like you can set a goal for points. So if you're just like, you know what, I want to hit 1,000 point club. golden. You're setting yourself up for success. Or you could be like me and be like, I don't care about any of that. I don't know what any of that means. I just want to start out sharing with people so that I can get my products covered so that I can show up better as a better me tomorrow. That's literally where I started. You don't have to have like this big grand goal. You don't even have to really know what you're doing, right? But you just have to be willing to share with people to get your products covered. And then from there, you build your vision. You can find your why along the way. And I just say, don't wait to give it a shot. Just don't wait to go for it. Whatever it is, don't wait to go for it.
I love it. You guys, I really like, she was joking about trying to follow Eric. We're gonna do this again at some point.
I
Joey,
will.
you are
I will
incredible.
do it.
You're an inspiration.
I will do it. I'll do it again.
You are
Pencil
an
me in.
inspiration. And typically this is the men's call on Thursday at 9. I am so glad that we brought this together.
Thank
And
you.
for
That's
those who
because we
are,
joked. You said your men's calls are Thursdays at 9, and I said I can just show up because I'm Joey.
we're good.
And it
We're
worked
yeah,
out.
like they won't notice. Um,
Listen, I'm the only granddaughter out of 19 grandchildren, so I can hang with the guys. I can do it.
that's a heck of a claim,
You're welcome anytime.
Thank you.
without a doubt. So y'all, if you would leave Joey some love in the comments.
Thank you.
I am truly humbled. We talk again. I mentioned one Plexus. Joey, I earn nothing from Joey. Joey earns nothing from me. We just came to be friends. I don't even know how we connected. Um, we came to be friends. She saw me at convention. We were in Dallas. I drove from North Carolina. We brought the kids. Uh, and she's like, "Hey, would you hold this sign? Like you had a sign of your friend who couldn't make
I,
it, and so
I
like I'm
had
holding. Was that you, Casey? I don't even remember. Yeah,
no,
like you were there.
It was Sharon Bowen, and I had her head on a
Okay.
fat head, and I brought her.
So he had a fat head, and I'm like, I don't know this person, but we're getting pictures. Like we're just having a good time. Um, so for you guys, whether you've been here for a few years and you love the community, whether this is your first call and you're saying, all right, maybe these guys are a little bit quirky, maybe they're a lot of fun, whatever it may be, like we're grateful that you're here. This community, for everybody who's in here, as we're dropping love for Joey, if you would, if Plexus has changed your life in some way for the better, just drop a one in the comments. Um, we've seen so many stories, and it just happens to be that we fell into this company that has incredible products. I had to get out the patent the other day because a friend was asking. I'm like, oh, here's the patent with all the studies on the back that are associated with our drink. We've got an incredible compensation plan. We've got a great guarantee. God forbid anybody would ever need it, but they don't. But we have the best people. And Joey, like you are it. So thank you all for being there. It's we went a little bit over this evening, and I'm so glad that we did because your story is so worth it. Within the next month or two, we're gonna do something again, and I love bringing all the teams together. And if you all have any questions, please send them to the person who invited you, and we will get those questions answered, whether it's myself, Joey, Kristen. Um, but guys, if you're here, just know there's a place for you. There's a place for you in this company. Whatever you want to accomplish is possible as long as you believe it and you're willing to put in the work. And boy, 2 years, I am so happy for you. As tough as that must have been, making that decision, making that turn for your family. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. I love
Have a
all of
great.
you, even if
Thank
I
you all
haven't
so
met
much.
you. Have a good night. Take care.